I'm Stacy Gordon. Welcome to That's My Jam. I first discovered this at a party maybe a year or so ago. It was served as an appetizer, and since it was chocolate and it was sitting next to some strawberries, of course, I'm going to take advantage of that. I started eating this and thinking, this is absolutely incredible, but I have no idea what I'm eating. I don't think it's pudding. I don't think it's brownie batter. I don't really know what it is, but I like it. So when I finally ran into the hostess, I asked her about it, and she said it's chocolate hummus. You may be thinking that sounds absolutely awful, because I think typically when we think of hummus, we think of garlic and totally different set of flavors, not chocolate. But if you're like me and you love all things chocolate, you really are going to want to check this out. Let's get started. As with traditional hummus, this recipe is going to start out with a 15-ounce can of cooked garbanzo beans or chickpeas. They are the same thing. We're going to need to drain these, but we want to reserve the liquid that's in the can. So I'm just going to use my colander and strain the liquid into a bowl so that I can set that aside. I'll be preparing this chocolate hummus in my food processor. So let's place those drained garbanzo beans or chickpeas into that. The next ingredient is tahini. Tahini is a Mediterranean food. It's basically a sesame seed paste. You may be able to see that it's very oily and the oil tends to separate. So we're going to need to get that blended up nicely before we measure that out for our chocolate hummus. To make the mixing a little bit easier, I'm going to place the entire contents of this jar of tahini into a larger bowl. I'll use a knife to scrape out all of the paste. Now I'll use a little spoon and start blending this together. Tahini is another ingredient that's found in traditional hummus, but after we add this, that's where the similarities stop. You can see that I've been working this to get the oil and the paste nice and creamy. This reminds me a lot of an all-natural peanut butter where the oil separates. In fact, it kind of smells like peanut butter. Now that I've got it nice and smooth, we're going to measure out 1/4 cup. I'll place that in with the beans and the rest of this is going to go back into the jar. We'll put that away for later. Next, we'll be using some agave nectar. You can also use maple syrup or honey, but I'm not crazy about the taste of maple syrup. I do love honey. This is very similar to honey if you've never had it before, but it's thinner and in my opinion, a little bit easier to work with. We need 1/4 cup of that as well. Next, we're going to need 1/2 cup cocoa powder. Next, we need a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I have really got to get on making another batch of that. This is my last bottle. We're going to use a pinch of kosher salt. And finally, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the water that came out of the can of chickpeas. We'll keep this on hand just in case we want to thin it out a little bit later. We're going to puree this for about 30 seconds. this is what it looks like. Now we're going to do a taste test to see if we're happy with the consistency or if we want to maybe make it a little more sweet. My opinion, you can't really have too much sweet, so I'm going to add one more squirt of this agave nectar. I'm also going to add not quite 1 more tablespoon of the liquid. That's going to give it a little more of a creamy texture. Lid back on, and now we're going to puree again. I'm going to scrape the sides of this just to make sure everything is down into the mixture. I'll remove the blade. And now I'm ready to transfer this to a bowl. A lot of purists are going to argue that this is not really hummus because although we had the chickpeas and the tahini, the rest of the ingredients are not traditional for hummus. I don't care. I'm going to call it chocolate hummus. Let's give it a taste test. First, I'm going to try with a pretzel. Love it. It's amazing. Now, let's try this beauty. Y'all, that's really, really good. And it's such a perfect thing to serve for a party. And strawberry season is right around the corner. Y'all gonna love that. You saw me try this chocolate hummus with pretzels and strawberries. There's no limit to what you can dip in it. Potato chips, pineapple, apple slices, anything you like. In the event that you have leftovers, they can be put in an airtight container and stored up to about 7 to 10 days in the fridge. I hope you have a great week ahead. I'll see you real soon. In the meantime, turn off the TV, turn on some music, and just keep jamming.